Good morning, everybody. Keith Engel with TGI Sports Talk. Sorry I'm late. Got a little situation going on here that hopefully is not anything too major, but I'll keep you abreast. If I have to jump off, I'll let you know. Um, Kind of a wintry day, wintry feel here in East Greenbush, New York. We're still the only live streaming webcast here in East Greenbush. Bring my comments up here. See a couple of you have joined already. We'll be talking college football championship weekend recap. We'll talk about the Final Four outlook, see how dirty and nasty that's going to look, and then we'll get into our picks. Hopefully, we sound good today. We've had some sound issues the last couple of broadcasts. Good morning, Rick Sherlock. Guys, if I have to jump for some reason, I'll get back to my guest pickers later. If I have to jump off for some reason, hopefully that won't be. But we're gonna, as I said, we're gonna talk some college. We're gonna talk some pro football. We're gonna have to wing the pro football a little bit. I didn't have time to prepare a lot, but we're gonna do our picks and we'll talk a little bit about the playoff picture and whatnot. I want to thank my guest. If you haven't watched my interview from Friday with Todd Stottlemyre, please watch it. We had some technical issues in the beginning. I reshot the opening of the show so there wouldn't be 10 minutes of dead air. But it was a great interview. Todd is a wonderful individual. He's got a great message that he tells. Get his book, his new book, The Observer, and he's got a couple other books out. But be looking for that. We won't have a live show. I may wing it with a live show next week, Christmas week. Fins up. Hey, Mark Robert Shaw. Fins up. We'll see. 9 straight wins, by the way. I don't want to give away my pick. Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Mark. I don't want to give away my pick, but let's keep in mind before I don't want to jump ahead to the NFL, but 9 straight wins against rookie quarterbacks for Bill Belichick. Just an FYI. So again, check out Todd Stottlemyre. I mentioned I won't have a live show probably Christmas Day. I will be on next Sunday. I may do something Christmas Eve morning. I don't know yet. Kind of play it by ear. I will be guesting with Mac and Jack probably a couple times this coming week. My next live show will definitely be New Year's Day with a guest. Friday, the January 1st. My guest will be Lloyd Walton, former All-American guard with Marquette. He's currently a senior counselor with the NBA Players Association, and we'll talk to Lloyd about the legendary Al McGuire and some legendary teams there at Marquette and what he's been doing since. He's a very interesting individual and one of 3 NBA players in history to get his doctorate. So anyway, let's talk about today. Let's jump into the college recap very quickly. We may have a quicker show today than normal. I don't know. We'll see how things go, as I said. And I have lost all my info. Nice. Oh, well. Let's go through the college championship games yesterday and the weekend, I should say. It started out Friday night with the Pac-12 and Conference USA and the MAC playing. And Oregon beats USC in that Pac-12 game. Oregon was a last-minute replacement for Washington, who couldn't play because of COVID-19. Again, a lot of cancellations of meaningless games and a conference championship game yesterday. But Oregon's now crowned the champion of the Pac-12. And there's probably 4 better teams in there. They beat USC, so I can't count them. But Utah, Washington, Colorado. This is what 2020's brought us. Obviously, no playoff implications for the Pac-12. Conference USA, Marshall upsets a very good Marshall. UAB upsets a very good Marshall team, 22-32-13, I believe. If I can trust my handwriting here. Again, we're winging it a little bit more than normal this morning. I apologize. In my scenario, my playoff scenario, that game would have major impact because then you'd have a 3-loss UAB team in the playoff. But I'm not going to dive into that a whole lot today. We may get into that during the week. The final selections, by the way, are at noon today. And the MAC, Ball State ends Buffalo's undefeated season. A very good Buffalo team for us upstaters here. Um, yes, the Blazers did look great. I watched a lot of that UAB Marshall game. They played. They played. That's again, that's a very good league at the top. This is why, again, I'm gonna. Here I go, my Sunday stream of consciousness. I'm going off topic a little bit. I'm trying to cover these games, but it's all related. Go back and watch my rants on the playoff. My last couple of vlogs. Um, these smaller conferences, these mid majors, don't get a chance. We'll talk a little bit about it as we go along here. Um, it's just crazy. Now we get into the bigger conferences. Obviously, Alabama actually got a really good game from Florida. Florida had blown any chance they had of probably getting into the playoff because of their loss to LSU last week, a horrible loss as we talked about last week. But a really entertaining game. They kept it close, fell behind a few times. Brock came back. 52-46 was the final. Alabama wins. Mac Jones with another tremendous game, 5 touchdowns. Let me try to bring up a little bit of my stuff here. Mac Jones, another tremendous game. It's going to be very interesting. The final Heisman tally here. Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence missed a couple games. We're going to talk about the Heisman a little bit later, but there's a little fly in the ointment here that might hurt Mac Jones. And actually, I don't know that it shouldn't, because the guy I'm going to talk about maybe should win. ACC. Clemson just annihilates Notre Dame. And once again, Notre Dame is exposed as not one of the best 4 teams in the country. They're probably going to make the playoff. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but this was just an embarrassment for Notre Dame. They were not even in the game. I've talked for weeks here about how I think this team is a different Notre Dame team, how Ian Book has made such great progress over his 3 years there. He's 30-3 going into last night's game as a starter. And his poise has really struck me here, especially this year. Julie's stealing my thunder here a little bit with the Alabama players splitting the vote. Yes, I definitely agree with at least 2 of them. I bet again, Notre Dame, they're probably going to make the playoff, which we'll talk about in a second. Sorry, guys, I got to keep my phone here a little bit. But just again, it wouldn't have mattered who Clemson played in that game. It doesn't matter that Notre Dame was a member of the ACC and somebody else didn't get a chance. You saw what happened to Miami last week against North Carolina. North Carolina would have got killed by Clemson last night as well. So Clemson's really good, guys. Trevor Lawrence. Big Ten. Ohio State struggles most of the day. They pull up. They end up winning by 12. Didn't cover the spread. They were 19-point favorite earlier in the day. They fell to 16 because of some people being out, COVID-related issues, which they've had for quite a few weeks. Not sure how teams determine when to play and when not to play. I mean, maybe it's just because in the case of Michigan and Florida State, those games might get canceled because those teams don't want to get a beatdown. Florida State canceled a game, if you remember. They had a game with Clemson. Clemson had already flown in. Same thing happened last week with Michigan and Ohio State canceled for the first time since 1917. Anyway, I don't know. It just seems odd that, first of all, the Big Ten changes their rules for Ohio State. Ohio State has COVID tests, quite a few they've had the last few weeks, but no games canceled, except because Michigan wanted to cancel because of issues on their side. I don't get it. Big Ten, we talked about. Big 12. I got to tell you, this is a fun game. And right up front, I'll be clear. I bet Iowa State yesterday with 6 points, so I ended up putting a push. But watching this game, and I really feel like, and most of the guys I think who know me, I'm a big Patriot fan. I'm a big Miami fan. I'm a fan of teams if I have money on them. But I think I can remove myself fairly well. A lot of people can't, and maybe I don't do it as well as like to sometimes, but I'm pretty, I think, fair and open-minded. As I watch the Patriots through the years, for instance, not to change the subject, but when they get a gift, I admit it. But I'll tell you what, this game yesterday, I don't think any way, shape, or form did the official, maybe the NCAA, and I'm not saying the officials are trying to fix the game. I mean, that kind of talk is crazy. But Iowa State just had a lot of stuff to overcome yesterday. They got a guy throwing out, one of the better defensive players thrown out on targeting on the first series of the game. Probably the right call, but in that game, I don't know. I don't think it was malicious, but then they had some other calls go their way. And their coach, Matt Campbell, who was one of my favorites. I've talked Matt Campbell up here for weeks again. This guy's a great coach, and he's turned his team around. They haven't won a conference championship outright since, 1908 or something. 1912, I think they shared a conference championship in the old Missouri Valley League, maybe. I think it might have been. Julie is agreeing with me on my Ohio State, Michigan COVID stance. Anyway, Iowa State hurt themselves too. Again, this isn't just about the officials. The quarterback didn't play great. He did bring him back. The kid has got some moxie, I'll tell you. But every time he made a big play, he came back with a bad play. They cut it to 3 at one point. And then unfortunately, Oklahoma just took it right back down the field. They had a big kickoff return and kicked the field goal, made it a 6-point game, and Iowa State just couldn't come back from there. Oklahoma's defense, interestingly enough, is what carried them in this game. Oklahoma's known for their offense carrying them these last bunch of years. With Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. It's just yesterday their defense was tremendous, and it's been tremendous for a few weeks. Defense was efficient, or their offense was efficient, but it was the defense that won the game for them. The AAC, my favorite league. Cincinnati wins. Close one over Tulsa. It's a good Tulsa team. It's a good league, top to bottom, man. Maybe not top to bottom, but it's deep. You got good teams. You got Cincinnati, obviously, is undefeated now, 9-0. Tulsa only won 2 losses, two losses after yesterday. You got SMU. You got Houston. These are all teams that have been very, very good the last number of years. It's a deep league. And Cincinnati's going to have no shot today, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. No shot at all to get in the Final Four. Watch my vlogs. We need to change this system. This 4-team system doesn't work. It only rewards the Power 5 conferences. There's only been, if I'm not mistaken, I read this morning. I'll try to find it real quick because all my saved tabs went down on me, unfortunately. I wonder if I open up a new one. It doesn't let me open. It doesn't ask me to add or reload the ones I had. Sorry about that, guys. But I'll still have some information for you in a second. There's only been 6 different teams in the final since they started this. A couple other news-worthy championship games. San Jose State finishes a Cinderella season, 7-0. They win the Mountain West over Boise State, who actually was favored in the game. And their quarterback, Nick Stackle, had a great game yesterday. This team's underrated. Their coach has done a great job. He's going to be getting some phone calls probably this year. They've had a dream season. San Jose State, another team that I don't think has won anything ever. They win the Mountain West Championship. Great job. Again, in my scenario, they play in the tournament for the championship. All the conference champions would play. And then 6 at larges. Anyway, that's old news. The Sun Belt Conference Championship game between Coastal Carolina, another great story this year, and Louisiana State was canceled due to COVID concerns. The other games played yesterday, except for one, were pretty much meaningless. Texas A&M was an important game for them. And again, we're going to get to why they win 34-14. Army and Air Force, it's interesting. Army season usually ends with Navy. They end up playing Air Force yesterday. They win the Commander in Chief trophy, which I think is an important development on a last second touchdown. Just Army's been a great story this year. 9-2, I think they are. Just Moncton did such a great job there, and I don't know how long they can keep him there. I mean, the only thing that turns off the major schools from a guy like him is, running that wishbone offense and whatnot. But look at these great coaches adapt. They adapt. Remember, we talked about Paul Johnson leaving Navy to go to Georgia Tech. He had some really good Georgia Tech teams until his last year or two. So, just because you coached at a military academy doesn't mean you can't move up and coach at one of these better, major schools, major conferences. He was up for the South Carolina job, and the fans up there were in outroar when his name even came up. Good morning, Bob Engel. My dad is here. Hope you guys are safe and happy up there in Amsterdam, New York. What else, guys? What else did I want to talk about? So let's move into again, there was a bunch of other games, meaningless games. I'm not even sure why they're playing them at this point. I know why A&M wanted to play. A&M wanted to get another good game in, even though they played a crappy Tennessee team. For the playoff consideration. We're going to talk about that in a second. There were a ton of games canceled yesterday again. I mean, by my count, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or 11 games canceled again yesterday. Again, I don't even know why any of them were scheduled. A lot of them were Pac-12 games, SEC games. Of course, the Sun Belt conference championship game was canceled, which is, obviously a big deal, but that's unfortunate. So I'm going through things a little bit quicker here, guys. I was going to look at the bowl games, but I don't even see the sense to it. I mean, there's been a bunch have been canceled. A bunch of teams have pulled out of consideration for bowl games, and there's still probably a bunch of meaningless bowl games that are going to be played between now and New Year's Day. Again, another reason why I like my format for the playoff. Expand it. Make some games count in December. These meaningless bowl games that nobody shows up to, the teams don't want to go to, the best players opt out of them. And this year with COVID, a bunch of, some of the better teams that would have been considered for these lower tier bowl games have opted out. Pittsburgh, Virginia Tech. I don't know. I can't even go down the list. There's too many to list. But the result of this is that there's going to be a bunch of under 500 teams. Penn State's being considered for a bowl game. Enough said. Why play them? The Car Quest is your car clean enough bowl. God, hate these bowl games. So anyway, if you're going to let teams in that are less than 500, I don't get it. Let's get on to the important stuff, the playoff. The playoff. A thorn in my side, guys. 4 teams. So yesterday's results really solidified. Certainly Alabama is going to be the first seed. Clemson will be the second seed, most likely. Very convincing win over Notre Dame. Their only loss was to Notre Dame early in the year without Trevor Lawrence. Ohio State most likely has wrapped up the third seed. I mean, there's some sniping going back from coaches about Ohio State and their position here amongst the top 4 teams in the country. They're definitely one of the top 4 teams in the country. The only question is about the lack of games that they played. I think they're 6-0. Northwestern's the best team they beat, and they struggled with Indiana. Sorry, Indiana might be the best team they beat. I can't, Ohio State could be in, but not in the 14th playoff. That's my opinion. But the problem becomes now you get the 4th seed. Where's the 4th seed? Is Notre Dame still a playoff team? Are they one of the best 4 teams in the country after what you watched last night against Notre Dame? I'm unsure anymore. A week ago, I was positive. I didn't think they could get blown out here yesterday. It was on Notre Dame with points yesterday. But if you don't take Notre Dame, Are you going to take Texas A&M, a one-loss Texas A&M team that didn't even make their conference championship game? That's the most likely scenario if Notre Dame doesn't go. Two times, two teams have gone in the history. Well, and I guess we've been doing this 6 years. 2014, I think, is when the playoffs started. The four-game playoff started. Rick Sherlock says no, and I like Notre Dame. I don't dislike Notre Dame. I enjoy Notre Dame's a good story. Again, we talk all the time about sports being better with certain teams being good. College football is just better when Notre Dame's good. So Rick can agree with me. They shouldn't. They aren't one of the top four teams in the country. But the problem is you don't take them. I want Cincinnati in there. 9-0, won a really good conference, AAC. They're not a Power Five team, but still, these teams have never had a chance. Not one Group of Five conference team has ever been selected for the playoff, and is unlikely ever to get selected for the playoff as long as it's four teams. If Cincinnati doesn't get in this year, it'll never happen. Undefeated, 9-0, played a really good conference schedule. Again, is it the SEC? No. Texas A&M, got beat down by Alabama already. Again, they won 7 in a row. And another thing that ticks me off is I watch guys like Jimbo Fisher, and before yesterday's game, Dan Mullen from Florida, berating Ohio State and what. You know what, guys? Just stop. Just stop. Go out and play games, win games, and stop politicking to get your team in there. Because I think Cincinnati should be in there. I don't see you guys sticking up for the little guys who don't get a chance when they go 10-0, 9-0 this year because Cincinnati missed a few games too. But still, 9-0 is a representative season. But these guys like Jimbo Fisher and Dan Mullen aren't saying, hey, what about Cincinnati? What about Coastal Carolina? What about Liberty? What about so-and-so? No, they're worried about their own place and money. The only other team I see have a shot, my guess is this comes down to Notre Dame and Texas A&M. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think either one of them should get in there. I think Notre Dame's going to get in there again because they want eyeballs watching these games. I don't know what good it's going to do if those eyeballs are turned the game off at halftime. But so I think it comes down to Notre Dame and Texas A&M. But I think Notre Dame will get in. But the only other team I see with a scenario outside of Texas A&M, Cincinnati, who would be my pick, Cincinnati. The only other team that you could even consider, in my mind, is a two-loss Oklahoma team who's been playing really good football, won their conference championship. And again, this is a little bit like the NCAA. Who's playing the best right now? And their bonuses. Yeah. Julie McMahon talks about the coaches are concerned about their bonuses. I agree. It's something we'll talk about on a different show, and I might do in one of my vlogs. I mean, I'm all for guys getting, I'm never one for guys, this guy's overpaid, coaches overpaid, players are overpaid. To me, you deserve what somebody's willing to pay you. I've always felt that way. But when we get to these college coaching situations, I mean, the football coaches at the state colleges are the highest paid officials in the state. God, I don't know if that ought to be the case. Anyway, back to the playoff. Do you jump? Is Oklahoma going to jump from 10-4? I doubt it. They're not going to leap. I don't think they're going to leapfrog Notre Dame and Texas A&M, or even Cincinnati for that matter. They might. Well, I'm sorry, they probably will leapfrog Cincinnati because the committee had dropped Cincinnati from 6 or 7 to 9 over the last couple of releases. So while they're not playing, they keep dropping in the standings. But Ohio State doesn't play for 3 weeks before yesterday, and they stay right where they were at 4 and never moved. Yeah, so it annoys me a little bit. All right, so if you can't tell, I haven't seen Bill Pulver yet today. Hope Billy's with us. We're going to get to the NFL here in a second, which will make Drew happy, I'll bet. Anyway, I want to see Cincinnati get that 4th pick. My guess is Texas A&M gets it. We'll see what happens. Noon today, I think it's on ESPN. One other thing to talk about though, when we're coming to that, just so you know, the Rose Bowl, and I think they still call it the Rose Bowl, has been moved from Pasadena to AT&T um, Stadium, the mausoleum that Jerry Jones built for himself, um, because of the COVID situation out there in California. So that'll be an interesting. That's one of the semifinal games, by the way, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl. So I'll finish up real quick with the Heisman, and I may throw a few vlogs out this week rather than have my show on Christmas Day. Obviously, I'm not going to do that, but we might throw a shoe through coffee. I may have a shoe. Boy, I did it again. A few short vlogs. That shouldn't be a hard thing to say, right? A shoe. A few short vlogs. All right, I'm yelling. Sorry, guys. Um, got myself all choked up. The only thing else I wanted to chat about real quickly, as I mentioned before, and I don't want to forget about it, is the Heisman. So the Heisman's become basically the best quarterback in the country. It's all about stats, which matter, but back in the day, it didn't always matter. I don't know that Paul Hornung had the best stats in college football. I'm Pat Sullivan, Steve Spurrier, uh, John Cappelletti. A lot of great players didn't have the best stats, but they were leaders and they had other attributes that led to them to get the Heisman Trophy. Today, it's all about the numbers, which is important. It should go to the best player, probably. But the best player isn't always a quarterback. Best player could be a defensive player. When Charles Woodson won, it wasn't based on stats because he was a cornerback. He played a little wide receiver at Michigan, but he won it because he was a defensive player. He's probably, I think, the only one or the first one in a long, long, long time to do it. But now it's all about numbers. It's become the quarterback Heisman. Running backs don't even have a shot, and there's some good running backs in the country. Here's a guy I think ought to win it, and Julie McMahon mentioned it a little bit before. I think that oh gosh, help me out because I can't read my writing. Devontae Smith, Alabama wide receiver. I think he's the best player in the country. Mac Jones, Devontae Smith, and maybe there'd be another third player from Alabama because they got probably the best 10 players in the country. Are going to split the vote, and Trevor Lawrence can still win it. I don't think Devontae Smith's going to win. I think he should. I think he's the most impactful player in the game. Watching him play week after week, I think he just changes the dimension of the games for Alabama, and which has made Mac Jones a lot better, obviously. So Mac Jones is going to benefit from that, but he may hurt from it when it comes time to vote for the Heisman. I think Smith will be a finalist. I think Trevor Lawrence will still win. I still think it'll probably be Lawrence, Jones, maybe Smith gets to finish third. Yeah, it's Julie agrees with my. For a while, back when I was a kid, it was a running back. It gotten to be a running back trophy. Trevor Lawrence, no, I don't know. I'm not saying he should win, Julie. I'm saying I think he will win, just because of what the hype that came up. Listen, he's the best player. He's the best NFL prospect. I should maybe Devontae Smith is better, but Trevor Lawrence is going to have a great NFL career. He's ready to play tomorrow. But again, he missed 2 games for COVID. He's playing on the best team in the country, second best team in the country. Sorry, Alabama fans. Your finalists are probably going to be, again, I mentioned the 3: Jones, Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Smith. Definitely Kyle Trask will be there. Played okay yesterday. He's kind of been a little off last. Going to finish in the top 3, I don't think. And then you've got Zach Taylor from BYU. So that's my final 5. you put them in the order you want. I think Devontae Smith should win the title or the trophy. January 5th, guys, virtually it'll be awarded this year. It's usually already been awarded by now. I think actually not last weekend, I think would have been the normal Heisman Trophy Award presentation. So it'll be a virtual award on January 5th this year, Tuesday night. So that's all I got for college today, guys. I'm moving on to the NFL. And let me see if I can get my again, I had a little distraction here this morning, guys, so I apologize for my seemingly lack of preparation here today, but I promise you we'll pick it up a little bit here. So let's look at last week's games real quick. The games that really mattered. Interestingly enough, it isn't a game that matters, but the Bears just annihilated the Texans last week, and Mitchell Trubisky had a bit of a resurgence, and he's a guy that is really intriguing to me. Just to back up to the college a second, Rick's talking about Lawrence missed a couple games. And I think that does affect. I think it affects it. That's why I think Smith is the Heisman Trophy winner. But I do think Lawrence will get it. Popularity contest too, guys. That's just what it is. So anyway, it's not the end of the world. There's enough trophies out there now in college football to give to everybody. So there's no participation trophies yet, thankfully. Anyway, a nice resurgence by Mitchell Trubisky last week, and he's going to be a free agent. Very intriguing story, to be honest with you. And he's one of the guys that I would love the Patriots to consider bringing in, because I loved that kid when he came in the league. He's gone backwards, and I think it's as much to do with the culture and the coaching with the Bears right now as anything else. Cowboys get back into the NFC East race with a big win last week against the Bengals, who stink, but still on the road. And the Cowboys have lost to worse teams than the Bengals probably this year. I won't mention them. Huge win for the Chiefs against the Dolphins. Tough place to go play right now. Dolphins playing good football. Got my Patriots today. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Cardinals stopped the Giants' 4-game winning streak. Some controversy about whether Daniel Jones should have even been playing last week. The Patriots. Bill Pulver shows up and doesn't say good morning. Good morning, Bill Pulver. He said, here comes the Patriots hour. I think that's an unfair view of my program. If it's going to be Patriot-centric, I usually let you know. Do I circle back to the Patriots a lot? Yeah, because, it's a lot better than talking about the Jets, Bill. How many times can I mention the Jets and Trevor Lawrence in the same sentence over and over again? So the Giants kind of hurt their chances in the NFC East, but they're still, I think, tied with the Redskins for first. We'll look at the standings here in a second. The Buccaneers. My other favorite topic, Billy will be mentioning. Oh, good morning, Bill. Bill got around to saying good morning. Another topic I seem to spend too much time on for Billy's liking is the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. Big win for them last week. Interesting comments coming out from Bruce Arians, by the way, this week, defending Tom Brady. Bruce Arians, who spent much of the year deriding his quarterback in press conferences, came to his defense and said Tom's getting too much of the blame. 12 teams have not won a Super Bowl. The Jets have won. Yeah, they have, Bill. But again, even as old as my audience skews, we were all little kids. Sorry. I like to go back and forth with Billy. I like to go back and forth with all you guys. Thank you for letting me do that. Take it in the spirit that it's meant. It's all in good fun always. Hope you know that, Bill. Titans continue to roll. I think, we'll talk about it in a second, but I think the Titans have moved past the Steelers. To me, it's the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Titans right now in the AFC. That's your power tier. We'll talk about it in a second. The Colts, who I continue to pick against, beat a Raiders team that's imploding. They've already lost this week against a horrible Charger team. One still is. What, Bill? One still is one. I know. I have some family who are big Jet fans, my in-laws, and they think Joe Namath sold his soul to the devil, and the Jets will not win another one while Joe Namath is alive. So they'll go unnamed here. Anyway, the Colts again. As I think Drew has pointed out in the past, I continue to hate the Colts. I probably give Philip Rivers too much, not enough credit. But they had a big win at the Raiders last week, and the Raiders have just imploded again on John Gruden. Jets continue to roll last week, 40-3. Losing, very good job there. Packers win. Saints upset by the Eagles. Jalen Hurts replaces Carson Wentz. I don't think Jalen Hurts can win in the NFL on a consistent basis. I get the hiccups, guys. I'm in trouble here. But, it was a trap game maybe for the Saints. Eagles had to win somewhere. Let's see what Billy's talking about here. When Joe dies, my tall boy rookie card increases to $2,000. Well, there you go. You got that going for you, Bill. I'd rather have the Super Bowl trophies. 6 of them. I won't say by who. Moving on. Any other games important last week? Washington did win. I'm sorry. Washington's in control of that division right now, 6-7. We'll talk about it in a second. Bills beat the Bills. Impressed me a lot, beating the Steelers, who we'll talk about in a second. And then you had the Ravens bouncing back with a crazy game Monday night against the Ravens, 47-42. So that's kind of the recap of last week's games. Just say white elephant. White elephant. I think they were gone before I said it, Bill. Drew agrees with me that Hurts won't be a star. Yeah, I don't think it won't be a star. I don't think it'll be a winning quarterback in the NFL over the long haul. But we'll give him the benefit of doubt for now. Coach is probably not going to be there next year. Okay, conference standings. I talked a little bit a minute ago about the Bills. And again, I've been a little harsh on the Bills this year, like I have been with the Colts. Billy's saying Washington's a sleeper. He's telling me. I know. We'll see. We're going to get to that division because we have to. There's a league rule and I believe a Facebook rule and whoever rules the webcasting, streaming webcast guidelines, you have to talk about every division in football, and that means we have to talk about the NFC East, which we will. So the AFC East, obviously, the Bills have already wrapped up the division for the first time in 20 years, 23, 24 years. The Dolphins are still in the playoff hunt. The Patriots are on life support. Not going to happen. Again, not to spend too much time on the Patriots because I don't want Billy to go grab another drink while we're doing this. Well, I'm doing that. But they're on life support. I mean, they have to win out, and then they need a bunch of teams lose in front of them, and that's not going to happen. So they should be playing Stidham. They're not. They're playing Cam Newton. Belichick says whatever Belichick's going to say about it, but the truth of the matter appears to be, from what I can find out from my sources around the team, that he won't put the kid in there, Stidham, because he's afraid he'll get killed because they can't protect him, and Cam can move around and that's that. So the Patriots will not be finding out, at least not this week, about Jason Stidham, which I think they need to do. My coffee's in a mug. I had to run out before the show today, so I had a little travel mug today, Rick. So my TGI Sports Talk mug is here. Nothing else in it, I promise you. Although there should be. 'Tis the season. We're coming. Told you guys, Hans Gruber fell from the Nakatomi Tower last week, so I got to talk about something in a second. Maybe I'll get into it in a second. Let me finish this. At least the AFC. Let's move on. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's not playing well, guys. They're still 11-2, yes, but they've been exposed a bit recently. Lost to the Redskins. Lost to Buffalo. They're fortunate that Cleveland got beat by the Ravens, or they'd still been in position still to win the division. They got a game left against the Steelers. So the Steelers have fallen down the hierarchy for me. I mean, right now in the AFC, it's the Chiefs, it's the Bills, it's the Titans. After that, you can put them in any order you want. Browns still, again, it was a big game for them, I think, Monday night. If they were going to prove themselves, Drew, what's Drew saying? Pittsburgh got screwed by NFL and are having trouble recuperating. Yeah, well, they did. The NFL did them no favors with the COVID situation, but look, everybody's had to deal with this in one form or another, and I'm not giving them a pass for that. I'm just not. Um, I just don't think they're as good as they showed. Again, they didn't beat a lot of great teams when they were 9-0, and you can only play the teams on your schedule. I understand that. And I'm not taking anything away necessarily from the Steelers organization. It's one of the best organizations, best run organizations in football. Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches in the game. But I think the Steelers now are showing who they really are this year, COVID or no. But I do agree that the NFL did them no favors. NFC South, or AFC South rather, the Titans are starting to kind of put it together again. The formula that they won with last year is starting to show. Yeah, their D's banged up too. Again, it's we're in week 15. Everybody's banged up, but again, it just is what it is. Look, if they're going to make the playoffs, they're going to have a punching chance here. And to me, Kansas City is still a prohibitive favorite in this conference and in the league. Anyway, boredom is their only enemy right now. So you got the Titans and the surprising Colts. Again, another team I keep trying to bury and I can't seem to do. Because they keep winning games. I write Phil Rivers off, and he comes off and plays a great game. But again, the Raiders last week, I don't know what's going on with the Raiders. Like, we're moving into that division, so let's just talk about this. Kansas City's wrapped it up. They got a 5-game lead. Their only concern now is going to be home field. Pittsburgh's only got 2 losses compared to their 1, and Buffalo's there at 3. So they don't want to be slipping up, losing home field advantage. Fans or no fans, it's still important. Man, Keith is hard on the Patriots, the Steelers this morning, but soft on the Patriots. Bill, you got to watch closer. I have not given the Patriots a pass at all. I said Jason Stidham should have been playing weeks ago. I said Cam Newton wasn't the answer. I said Bill Belichick has done a horrendous job of drafting the last few years. N'Keal Harry's been a bust. They didn't do a good job this year, including coaching, management, whoever you want to talk about. They didn't do a good job. They bungled the Brady thing. So believe me, I have not been easy on the Patriots. I'm as hard on the Patriots as anybody, which is why I will crow when they're good and they do things right. Don't give them a pass for anything. Raiders no defense, and I think they got a problem with their coach. I think there's a problem. They gave this guy $100 million, 10 years. It's not working out. We're in year what, 4? And their season, they get to a certain point and they implode. I love John Gruden, but these remarriages don't seem to work. They just never have. And the rest of the division is the rest of the division. They're done. Moving on to NFC Central. I'm sorry. The National Football Conference, the NFC East. There isn't even a Central anymore. Sorry, guys. Hold on. Gotta check something here. All right. The East. In the driver's seat, the Redskins. Billy's new favorite team. Billy Pulver's new favorite team. Chucky shouldn't have come back. I agree, Drew. It never ends well in these situations. It's happened a few times where teams have reunited with coaches, or coaches come back in general. I mean, Bill Cowher's name's getting kicked around for the Jets, and we're going to talk more we'll talk more about this coaching carousel like we talked about last week once the season's done and we know the openings, and we'll talk more about it. But those situations don't end. Joe Gibbs came back after being gone, 15 years to the Redskins? I think he made the playoffs once, but they were a mediocre team the entire time. It just doesn't work. The magic can't be repeated often or ever. Speaking of magic, nice segue. Magic. Somebody through magic or whatever has got to win the NFC East. Washington's got a 1-game lead right now over the Giants at 5-8, and the Eagles and Cowboys sit there at 4-9 and not out of it. Cowboys, who knows? Again, I said 7-9 would win this division. Redskins are making me look bad right now. They're actually on a nice little run, 4 wins in a row, playing good football. But yeah, Drew just beat me to it. Alex Smith is out, if you don't know. So Haskins is back. And maybe it'll be a chance for him to redeem himself. Number 1 draft pick, guys. And he has not played like it. And, if he doesn't probably step up in this situation, his Redskin days are probably over. What are we talking about here? Remarriage. You just gave me a heart attack. Billy. Billy, 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 Billy. What did I miss here? Alex Smith. He likes Alex Smith bringing his game. Alex is out. Yes, but he's contributed. Yeah, well, Alex Smith's not done a great job. He's only three touchdowns, 3 interceptions. His numbers haven't been huge, but he has stabilized the offense for sure. Okay, let's get out of this division because it just gives me the agita. The North. Green Bay's wrapped it up, obviously, 11-3. Again, a team that's flawed a little bit, but they win yesterday. So we do have 2 wins. We do have 3 games under our belts. We mentioned the Bills earlier. They won huge yesterday against a bad Bronco team. Drew's mentioned Haskins and Hurts are 2 sides of the same coin. I don't know. They're different quarterbacks, though, Drew. But I don't think either one of them is really star material in the NFL, or even Super Bowl contending talent in the NFL. So anyway, back to the Packers. 11-3 is a record, and again, your record is what you said. What it is. Your record is. Well, you are what your record says you are. Is the deal. Hang on, guys. I told you I had to keep track of something here. Hold on. I know I like to add this little bit of really stellar TV here. Green Bay not impressing me. Billy says I don't disagree necessarily. They do have the best record in the NFC, which is important when it comes to maybe more important in their situation than any, because they're battling the Saints, and the Saints play in a dome, and the Packers play on the frozen tundra come January. So huge if it comes down to Saints and Packers, or even Buccaneers and Packers for that matter. So anyway, they're definitely the class there. Minnesota continues to disappoint. I mean, Rick, I know that you're a Mike Zimmer defender, and I do think Mike Zimmer will get a pass this year. We talked about COVID and how it's affected everybody, but some guys will get a COVID pass, as we've talked about in different times of this year. And they're still alive here. I think, if I'm right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're actually still alive for a playoff berth, believe it or not. Because right now the last spot is the Cardinals at 7-6. So anyway, The rest of that division is pretty mediocre right now. The Vikings have played below their potential. The Bears, I don't know if they had any potential to start with. Billy. Oh, Billy. Billy, I don't know what these Sundays would be without you um, deriding me for even if I mention the Patriots, Tom Brady, or the Buccaneers once. How fast did I move on? I'm going to talk about the Buccaneers now, though, because we're going to go to the South. The Saints, I think, will win the division. They're 10-3. They got 2 wins, so they got a 2-game lead, but really it's a 3-game lead because they beat the Saints or they beat the Buccaneers twice. I still think there's problems in Tampa Bay with the coach and the quarterback not being on the same page. But the Saints have got to get Drew Brees healthy. I don't think they win with Hill or Winston playing quarterback come playoff time. I just don't think so. So, the Saints are going to be in the driver's seat. And then they get to the West, which is still a very intriguing, not the division that I thought it would be because of the 49ers problems. But the Rams and Seahawks are in quite a battle for first place. Drew's is back. I know Drew's back. Drew, I know Drew's back, Drew. It's hard to say, too. But again, the guy had 12 broken ribs 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks, and he's 40 years old and he wasn't playing like Drew Brees before that. I'm not so sold on the Saints. I think the best team in the league, complete package, is the Rams. They've thrown a few stinkers up there, but when they put Goff in a position to win games, and to succeed, I should say, and not put the game on his back, they're really a good team. Brady's cheating time of the year. Brady's cheating time of the year. Billy, you got to get over it. You got to get over it. Tell me what's cheating thing Brady did one cheating thing, and now you're going to make me go off on a little tangent here. So you brought this one on yourself. Let's talk about Tom Brady's cheating. Tom Brady, what did he get accused of? Oh, yeah, taking a couple of ounces of air out of a football, which every quarterback in the league does, by the way. Either puts it in, takes it out, does something. But Tom Brady, again, the NFL, by the way, the NFL really wanted the Patriots to win all the time because they were doing all these stupid investigations on nonsensical things like taking the air out of a football. And all the star quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers said, I like more in it. I like less in it. And again, God, I'm not going to go down this road this far, but listen, guys, here's the bottom line. If the air in the football matters so much, why don't the officials control the footballs before the game, during the game, after the game, always, in other words, because it's not that important. All right, backing up. Oh, where are you? Akers is finally getting his chance. Yes. God, he played well, right? Is it Akers? I know I had Atkins in my head. I don't know why. Spygate. Well, first of all right, Bill, you're not letting me get off. This is why we talk about Brady so much, because you don't let things go. Spygate had nothing to do with Tom Brady. It had to do with the New England Patriots and the coaching staff. And you can call it cheating, or you can call it, again, stuff all the teams did and the Patriots got called out for it. The Tuck rule was not cheating because it was a rule in the rule book that's no longer there, but it was a rule and it was correctly enforced. The air, I just touched on. Endless, give me another one. Endless means you can give me 100 more. Can you give me 100 more? Can you give me one more? I bet you can't. All right. For those of you tuning in, this is the point in the show where I get into an argument with Bill Pulver every week. All in good fun. Bill, you keep doing it because it makes, for me, I think this makes the show more fun. Billy's pushing my buttons. Move on. Yeah, I can't let things just sit there though, but true, because guys come back and read these comments later on. And snowplow. Tom Brady wasn't born when a snowplow came out. Oh my gosh, you're killing me. Hang on, guys. Oh my God, Bill, you crack me up and you make me have more fun here than I should really be allowed to have. Okay, hang on one second, boys and girls. Again, I'm keeping track of this situation. Let's move on, as Drew said. Let's get out of the South. We're going back to the West. The Rams are the best team in the league, I think, balanced in the NFC, balance wise. Seahawks have no defense. Russell, they're going to go as far as Russell Wilson's arm can take them. And the Cardinals are intriguing. They actually with a big win against the Giants last week, which you would think, given the way the East is played, is not that big a deal. But I think the Cardinals really needed a big win like that, and maybe they get back on a little roll here. They do hold the last playoff spot. I think that there could potentially be something wrong with Kyle Murray. He has not played the way he played earlier in the year, and Billy. So anyway, I think and the 49ers again, their season fell apart with injuries, and it was unfortunate. Then the COVID thing has displaced them. I mean, it's again, as I told Drew earlier, everybody's dealt with these things. Look what the 49ers have been dealt with. Pittsburgh's done a great job of dealing with the things they've had to deal with. They're 11-2, and you know the 49ers are 5-8. So that tells you a little bit, I think, about the organization and the coaching. But the 49ers will bounce back. A lot of intrigue about whether Jimmy Garoppolo will be part of that, by the way. Another guy I'd be okay heading back east. Card's name came about because Billy's got a fast, fun fact here. Hold on. Zambuca in my coffee will help the Bill questions. I agree, Rick. Zambuca in my coffee is my favorite. Billy, Billy's sending answers. That's funny. This isn't Jeopardy, Bill. Uh, what did Billy say? Billy's fast fact here. Card's name came about because first uniforms were maroon and faded. Owners said they looked like cardinal red. Interesting. I like Billy's fun facts. All right, guys. I got nothing else to talk about in the NFL today. Right now, I think we're going to have much as we talk, as move in the next few weeks, coaching, everything else. But I think it's time we moved on to our weekly picks. So bear with me while I get my site back. Another thing Billy always hates to credit me for. I really don't have our picks from the other night in front of me because I don't have Facebook open, guys. I did not write them down. So hold on. Let me get your names here. Rick, Drew, Keith, and Billy. By the way, last week, I should bring it up. I don't even want to bring up the numbers from last week, guys. They were atrocious. We all stunk. I stunk more than anybody. So let's start fresh. I'm already not doing well because I know I had the Raiders. I had Green Bay, but I don't remember I guess I should pull it up. Bear with me. Let's get our picks from earlier in the week. If I can get Facebook to come up. I was having some problems here. All right, guys. Gotta find our little chat here because I had a lot of potential guest chats going on here this weekend. If I can find it, here we are. All right, guys. So here's the lines I gave you for the games this week that were already played. Now I can't find them. Oh God, come on, where are you? I'm back to Thanksgiving for crying out loud. Here we go. Raiders minus 3.5 against the Chargers. Keith had the Raiders and lost. Bills minus 6.5. I took the Bills and won. And the Packers minus 8.5. They only won by 8. Loser. Packers. I'll recap your guys' scores later. We don't necessarily have to do that right now. So I'm going to close this up because sometimes this will interfere with my my video. Okay, this week's games. Certainly the best game of the day. We'll start with the Kansas City Chiefs at the New Orleans Saints. Chiefs are minus 3. Saints still banged up, although they've been happy with the job that Taysom Hill has done, obviously filling in. But last week's loss to the Eagles knocked them out of that top spot, as we talked about. Drew Brees is back today. It looks like, again, Drew's saying he is. I hadn't seen the final numbers this morning. Again, the Chiefs are a 3-point favorite here. I have got to be on the Chiefs minus 3. I cannot pick against the Chiefs. I just can't do it until they lose. Rick's on the Chiefs. Drew's on the Chiefs. And Ellen's perfect 3-0. Who'd she pick? Michael Thomas is gone for the Saints, right? Do I have your pick in here, Bill, somewhere? Billy's on the Saints. All right. Going to be a great game, I think, guys. Game of the week for sure. Oh, a game that is much bigger than what I would have thought it would be a few weeks ago. The Seattle Seahawks at the team formerly known as the Redskins. Another big road favorite here, guys. We've talked about this theme week after week. And the Seahawks are a 6-point favorite against the Redskins. I got to go with the Seahawks only because Haskins is back in the saddle here. So I'm going to take the latest 6. Again, it goes against all my instincts. Home dogs, teams traveling from the West Coast. I'll take the Seahawks. Drew's on the Seahawks. This is going to be a tough pick for Billy. Seattle's one of his adopted hometowns. And Rick's got the Redskins. Billy's, they're doing a shot, trying to figure out who to take. Give me your pick, Bill. Seahawks are a 6-point favorite over the team formerly known as the Redskins. He will take Seattle. 3 of us on Seattle. Thought that might be more on the Redskins. Tampa Bay, 6-point favorite at the Falcons. I have been horrible picking Falcon games, so I said forever, but I'm going to be on Brady and the Bucks today. Minus 6 on the road. Oh, did I say Redskins? I keep saying Redskins. It's just me. I still call Marquette the Warriors. I still call my former high school the Red Raiders. I'm bad. I'm just a horrible person. The Bucks. The Bucks for Rick Sherlock. The Bucks for Drew. And Billy has got. Billy, do you have an extra 30-second delay that nobody else has here? Gonna move on here and wait for your pick. Well, you go. Well, we're waiting on Billy to pick the Bucks minus 6 over Atlanta. I think he's got a computer he runs a bunch of stuff through. Better than the Kens. Attaboy, Rick Sherlock. You know it. Billy is being contrarian all the way through here. No, not quite all the way through. Falcons for Billy. God, what a horrible name for the Kens, right? Rick, what is a Kenyato? I don't know that I actually know. I belong to this site, Broadalbin Historical website. I don't know why. But everything's always been Kenyato in Broadalbin. I don't know if I know the origin of that. Maybe you know, Rick. Maybe Billy knows. I don't know. Moving on. Big game for the Giants today. Another road favorite. The Browns -4 against the Giants. No Danny Nichols. The Giants had won 4 in a row before they were beaten last week by the Cardinals, who I think are a better team than the Browns. But, a guy I keep bad-mouthing, Baker Mayfield, has played better. The Creek. Yeah, but Kenny Edo's got to be some historical landmark or something. There's got to be some context to it. Kenny Edo sunk under a sack and dog. Is that true, Bill? Browns for Drew. I'm losing control of this show. Browns for Rick. I got something else to talk about that's not football related, by the way. Keith's going to take the God. Keith's going to take the Giants. Oh my God! Can't believe I'm even saying it. +4. Billy's got the Giants. Moving on. Confirm that sank under the sack and dog or point to me. What was it? Was it a part of the county up there, Bill? Kenyato? I'll have to do some research. I know there's a whole book you can buy about the the building and the flooding of the Sacandaga Lake. I got to get that, I think. Next game, Panthers. Well, we already did Panthers. Sorry, these are Saturday games. We can move past these. Sunday's other games, Jaguars at the Ravens. The Ravens are 14. Jaguars got nothing going for them. Seem to be in games, though, from time to time. They've given some teams some fits. But Ravens have a short week. I got to leave the points. -14 on Baltimore. So it's Jaguars at the Ravens. Ravens are 14-point favorites. Ravens for Drew. Ken E. Edo. Now I think you're pulling my leg, Bill. Ken Y. Edo. I'm going to look this up later, Bill. Rick's got the Ravens. All right, moving along. Houston Texans at the Colts, -7. Colts are playing much better than I've given them credit for, as we know. They've got an 82% chance of making the playoffs right now and a 30% chance to win the division still. Texans are kind of playing out the string, but they do have the best player on the field in Deshaun Watson. What do you do? The Colts -7. I'm going to get on the Colt bandwagon this week. I got to stop losing. So you guys better take the Texans. There you go. Drew's taking the points, but picking the Texans to win. Guess that's his super dog. You were kidding on Kenny Edo. See, Bill, you're a bright guy. I thought you were being serious. I need picks. Texans for Billy. Did Rick give me a pick? Colts. All right, guys. Next game. The Lions at the Titans. I'll tell you what, I've done really well wagering the Titans this year. I think I've only lost one time, and that was the Colt game. I haven't taken them every week, but I think the game they lost to the Colts, the only time I was on the Titans and lost. They're giving 10.5 today to a Lions team that is probably about ready to go pack it up and play some golf. Matthew Stafford is, again, I don't know what you've heard this morning, because I have not. Once I get on the air, it's hard for me to get updates. I'm on the Titans. Billy's on the Titans. Drew's on the Titans. Excuse me. And I think I saw Rick on the Titans. We're all on the Titans. That may be one of my picks. Billy, that's screaming. Drew, I need a monitor in the room when I can't look. I can't be looking every 2 seconds. Billy's out of control. lying to us about Kenyato. Now he's screaming out his picks, pushing my buttons. Bears at the Vikings, -3. Vikings are at home, -3. Vikings, -3. They're still alive for the playoffs. Actually, the Bears. Actually, the Bears are still alive for the playoffs. They're both 6-7. I mean, Chicago had been really struggling recently until last week, and they beat up on the Texans pretty handily, which surprised me a bit. I got to be on the Vikings here. They've really hurt me all year long. It's probably going to be another team that I might bet on today. Um, God help me, Drew. Cruz says Vikings. God help him. We know Rick has got the Vikings. And what's the screaming Pulver got? Screaming Pulver. You're killing me, Billy. Give me the pick so we can move on to the game of the week. I'm moving on to the game of the week, and I'll wait for your pick on Vikings and Bears. The game of the week: Patriots at Dolphins. Patriots are minus. I'm sorry, the Dolphins are -2.5. The game's in Miami. The Dolphins still well in the race for the wild card. Oh, you know what? It's not just backwards, Rick. It's upside down as well. You're killing me, Billy. Okay, we got 2 on the Dolphins. Let me give you a little number here. You guys can change your mind if you want. 9 straight wins against rookie quarterbacks for Bill Belichick. Always gives them a hard time. Even with this team that is not up to par. There's always something up his sleeve for guys like Tua. I say all that, and you all know I'm going to take the Patriots regardless because that's just who I am. Game of the week. It is in my household. I'm going to say everybody else is on the Dolphins. Drew and Rick are. I know. I don't know if I've seen Billy's upside down or sideways pick yet. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. He misspelled it, but that's okay. Start Fitz. If they want a chance to win the game, they probably should start Fitz. Jets at the Rams. Lay your own number, guys. 15. The number's 17. And I'm laying it. Rams. Enough said. The Jets lost 40-3 last week and look worse than any team I've ever watched play an NFL game. Might be saying a little much, but at least in a long time. Rams for Rick. He's not afraid of those points. How about Drew and Billy? That's right. You didn't take the Jets last week, did you, Drew? I know you did at one point. What else we got here? I'm waiting for Billy again. We got to check his delay. I think his delay is like a minute. Okay, Bill. Bill's got the Rams. Another exciting game, but a game that may allow the Cowboys to jump back even tighter in the NFC East. 49ers -2.5 at the Cowboys. I'm a little surprised and unsure how San Francisco can be favored in this game. But they are +2.5. You know, there's still uncertainty again with from the 49ers. Samuel's out. I don't get it. I'm all over the Cowboys again this week. God, my wagers this week. I got 3 games to pick today, and that's probably 2 of them are going to be Vikings and Cowboys. God help me. 2.5, Bill. Sorry. 2.5. 49ers, 2.5. Drew's got the 49ers. Rick's got the Cowgirls. Billy's got the Niners. All right. We're moving into the home stretch here. 2 more games, guys. The Eagles, big winners against the Saints last week at the Arizona Cardinals. Actually, this might be one of the games I take. Cardinals are 6.5-point favorites. Played much better against probably a team on the same level as the Eagles on the road last week in the Giants. I'm picking the Arizona here. The game certainly means a whole lot more to them than it does the Cardinals, or I'm sorry, the Eagles. So I will take the Cardinals minus the 6.5. Drew's got the Cardinals. Billy and Rick. Billy's got the Cardinals. And Rick, wait for your pick because we'll talk about the next game is going to be the previously talked about. There's Rick's pick. Rick is going to take the Eagles. These are contrarian there. Our final game of the week, the Steelers at the Bengals. If the Steelers are going to get healthy, this is where it's going to be. The Steelers are 11.5-point favorites on the road at Cincinnati. Monday Night Football. I mean, the Bengals were very competitive with Burrow. They have been much less so without him. Although they did give the Giants a scare. I'm going to have to lay the points to take the Steelers here. Minus 11.5. Drew's got the Steelers. Holmes? Oh, Rick needs the Eagles. That's why he's taking the Eagles. He's looking at playoff implications here. Rick's got the Steelers. And I'm not sure what Billy's got. We got the Steelers at the Bengals, minus 11.5. So we'll wait on Bill's pick. While we wait on Bill's pick, he's taking the Bengals. Interesting. So that's our picks for the week, guys. I think we probably have early games next week. I'll send out a note to you guys again. I'll also add in the results for these earlier played games. I want to wish all you guys, by the way, and thank you again for as we end this. Well, we're not ending the year. I'll be back on before the end of the year, but I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. As best you can celebrate it. Celebrate safely. Make sure that you enjoy it because it is still family and friends. Enjoy them as much as you can. Some of it will be done over Zoom. Some of it will be done up close. Doesn't matter how you celebrate it. Have a great Christmas. I will be on probably. I'll probably throw a couple of vlogs on. I could even come on live at one point before the holiday, but you guys, I want to wish a Merry Christmas too right out of the gate because I see you week in and week out here on Sundays, and we have a nice chat. One other note: no spoilers here. I promise you. If you watch The Mandalorian, you're gonna be wowed at the finale. It's a great show. Don't give out any spoilers here. Watch the show. What a great job Disney has done with this show. Really brought the Star Wars franchise back in my mind. But yes, Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah to those who are not celebrating Christmas or celebrating both, as some households do that I know of. So, or whatever holiday you choose to celebrate. Please, all of you, enjoy it. Have a safe and happy one. I will be back next Sunday for sure. Check out my vlog I'll have on during the week. At least one. It'll probably be college football related, unfortunately, Drew. But I'll be on with Mac and Jack at least once next week. My next live interview will be Lloyd Walton on January 1st. It's going to be fun. It was a great interview. I'd already done it. Had a good time with Lloyd. You guys have a great football Sunday. Keith Engel for TGI Sports Talk. Have a great day. See you next week. Good luck, Pats. Good luck, Vikings. Good luck, Jets, Seattle. I don't know how many other teams you got, Bill. Keith Engel out.